Five overrated video games. Number 5. Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed was a game which showed great promise in the run-up to its release. With stunning graphics and an apparent free world to explore, the title looked certain to be a classic. Ultimately, though, the game was excruciatingly repetitive with just a handful of different things to do, like pickpocket someone or eavesdropping on a conversation, which were tiresomely repeated over and over again. This game was simply boring. I don't know anyone who could play this game after the initial excitement which filled about half an hour. Number 4. Any Grand Theft Auto game. Well, all GTA games after Grand Theft Auto 3. The gameplay seems relatively unchanged since GTA 3, and yes, newer titles have featured things like the ability to fly an airplane and the ability to get fat of a diet of burgers, but it's mostly just stealing cars and shooting people. The missions are agonizingly boring and game time always descends into seeing how many stars you can get before being arrested or killed, a game which becomes very boring very quickly as you aimlessly drive around running people over for money. Number 3. Gears of War. GO was arguably Xbox 360's biggest selling point following its release. Yes, the game boasted the best graphics the 360 was capable of and the online play was apparently very good. But the campaign mode was boring. The levels are way too straightforward. All you have to do is follow a set path while killing enemies on the way. Because of this, the gameplay is very repetitive and you find yourself getting very bored easily. This game definitely isn't as good as the 360 fanboys would have you believe. Number 2. Final Fantasy. This entry will probably cause the most arguments. However, as I stated before, I don't think this game is bad. It is in my opinion overrated, and the opinion of GamesPy, who named it the 7th most overrated game of all time. I find the stories in these games have been without any ingenuity since Final Fantasy IX way back in the year 2000. Number 1. Halo. Maybe it's because I grew up with a PlayStation, then a PlayStation 2, then a PlayStation 3, but I have never understood why these games gained labels such as Best Game Ever Made. From the few hours of snippets I got from various visits to friends with Halo, I found it extremely pointless. The story is totally unoriginal. A one-man army hunts down and attempts to destroy a huge weapon called the Death Star. I mean, Halo, which is capable of destroying whole planets. We haven't followed that storyline 100 times before. Halo had one of the worst level designs I have ever seen. Every room looked exactly the same, not to mention the most irritating bad guys in video game history. It sickens me that people would consider this game the best FPS ever with games like Half-Life knocking around.